When Trump media announces they're buying 6.3 billion crypto tokens, you know we're living in the strangest timeline. I mean, seriously, if you told me 5 years ago that Truth Social would be partnering with Crypto.com to create one of the largest crypto treasuries in existence, I would have thought you were writing fan fiction. But here we are, and the details of this deal are absolutely wild. They're not just dipping their toes into crypto, they're doing a cannonball into the deep end with billions of dollars worth of CRO tokens. Trump Media, along with Yorkville Acquisition Corp and Crypto.com, are creating this new entity called Trump Media Group CRO Strategy. Yeah, they really went all out with that corporate naming creativity, but forget the boring name for a second. They're acquiring 6.3 billion CRO tokens. That's not million with an M. That's billion with a B. That's roughly 19% of all CRO tokens in circulation. Imagine if someone just walked up and bought 19% of all the gold in Fort Knox. That's basically what we're talking about here, but in crypto form. On top of that, they're throwing in $200 million in cash, another $220 million from warrant exercises, and this is where it gets really crazy. A $5 billion equity line from Yorkville's subsidiary. All told, we're looking at a treasury worth at least $6.42 billion. That's not play money. We're serious about this money. And here's what's really interesting. CRO jumped 25% on the news. Of course it did. When someone announces they're buying nearly a fifth of your token's supply and holding it, that's basically the crypto equivalent of a vote of confidence on steroids. Now, what exactly is CRO and why should anyone care? CRO is the native token of the Kronos blockchain, which is basically Crypto.com's attempt at building their own ecosystem. Think of it like this. If cryptocurrencies were airlines, Bitcoin would be like the established international carrier, Ethereum would be the innovative regional airline with all the cool features, and Kronos would be trying to build its own airline alliance. CRO tokens are used for everything in that ecosystem: staking, payments, rewards, governance. Crypto.com has been pushing hard to make CRO more than just another random token. They've got the naming rights to the Crypto.com Arena in LA, formerly Staples Center. They've got Matt Damon doing commercials. They've been trying to go mainstream. And now they've got Trump Media. This isn't just about buying tokens. They're talking about integrating CRO into Truth Social and Truth Plus. Imagine scrolling through Truth Social and being able to tip posts with crypto, or maybe getting CRO rewards for engagement. It's like they're trying to create this hybrid social media crypto platform. Whether that actually works or just becomes another failed experiment, remember Steam it, anyone, remains to be seen. But the ambition is definitely there. What's Yorkville's role in all this? They're basically the money guys, the enablers. Through their subsidiary YA2PN, they're providing that massive $5 billion equity line. For those who don't follow financial structures, an equity line is basically like having a credit card with a really, really high limit that you can draw from when needed. It provides flexibility and shows that there's serious backing behind this venture. Yorkville has been positioning themselves as institutional crypto financiers, and this deal basically puts them on the map in a huge way. They're not just facilitating, they're actively participating in what could be one of the largest corporate crypto plays we've seen. Meanwhile, Crypto.com gets something potentially even more valuable than money: access to Trump Media's user base and the legitimacy that comes from a major partnership. They'll provide the wallet infrastructure, the technical backbone, and in return they get shares in Trump Media. It's actually a pretty clever swap when you think about it. They're trading tokens they created for equity in a public company. That's turning digital assets into traditional assets, which is exactly the kind of bridge that crypto needs to build for mainstream adoption. But let's zoom out and think about what this really means for the broader market. This isn't just another company adding Bitcoin to their balance sheet like MicroStrategy or Tesla did. This is creating an entirely new treasury-focused entity specifically designed to manage crypto assets. They're calling it a digital-first economy play, which sounds like corporate buzzword bingo, but there's actually something to it. If this works, and that's a big if it could become a template for how traditional companies integrate with crypto ecosystems. Imagine if every media company started creating crypto treasuries, integrating tokens into their platforms, rewarding users with cryptocurrency. It would fundamentally change how we interact with digital content. The timing is also fascinating. We're in this weird period where crypto has sort of proven it's not going away, but it hasn't quite figured out what it wants to be when it grows up. Bitcoin's becoming digital gold, Ethereum's becoming the world computer, but what about all these other tokens? CRO finding a use case in social media and content creation could actually give it a purpose beyond just being Crypto.com's rewards token. Of course, there are massive risks here. First, holding 19% of any token's supply in one treasury creates enormous concentration risk. If something goes wrong and they need to sell, that could crater the price. Second, regulatory risk is huge. The SEC is still figuring out how to regulate crypto, and having a high-profile company like Trump Media deeply involved in crypto could attract regulatory attention, not necessarily the good kind. Third, execution risk. Just because you have billions in crypto doesn't mean you know how to integrate it meaningfully into a social media platform. We've seen plenty of crypto projects with great ideas and tons of funding completely fail to deliver. And let's be honest, Truth Social isn't exactly known for its technical innovation. Can they really pull off a sophisticated crypto integration? Fourth, market risk. Crypto is volatile as hell. That kind of volatility can make planning and operations really challenging. But here's what I find most interesting about this whole thing. It represents a fundamental shift in how we might think about corporate treasuries. Traditionally, companies park their excess cash in super safe, boring investments. Treasury bills, corporate bonds, maybe some money market funds. The idea of taking billions and putting it into cryptocurrency would have been considered absolutely insane just a few years ago. But now, companies are realizing that in a world of inflation and currency debasement, maybe the traditional playbook doesn't work anymore. Maybe you need to take some risks, embrace new technologies, find alternative stores of value. This Trump Media deal could be the beginning of a trend where companies don't just hold crypto, but actively build businesses around their crypto holdings. Actually, you know what this reminds me of? It's like when companies in the early 2000s started realizing they needed an internet strategy. At first, it was just, let's make a website, but eventually it became the internet is our strategy. We might be seeing the same thing with crypto, going from let's buy some Bitcoin to let's build our entire treasury strategy around digital assets. Look, this isn't financial advice. This is just our take on what could be one of the wildest corporate crypto moves we've seen. The whole thing could be genius, or it could be a disaster. And honestly, with crypto, you never really know until years later. Do your own research, especially when it comes to anything involving both politics and cryptocurrency, because that's about as volatile a combination as you can get.